The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Wait, was that the Halo theme for the PlayStation podcast? Yeah, it is. Huh.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the PlayStation Experience podcast, PSVG's official PlayStation podcast. This week, I'm Seth. I'm joined by Justin. Hello. And I'm joined also by Tyler.
Yes, baby. You're about to get the experience of the lifetime.
So what this is the Ohio and Michigan trio. We would just need Jason, but he would have to buy a PlayStation.
No.
Anyway, Tyler, last week, on the first episode of PSXP, Justin and I divided the lands of PlayStation. He is the Duke of Santa Monica, which is a pretty cool title. I am the Duke of Sucker Punch. So which realm of PlayStation would you like to rule over?
Now, I guess this is an interesting question. Is a Viscount a higher or equal position to the Duke? Because I kind of like the Viscount.
You can be a Viscount. I have no clue what that is.
I always told myself it was Viscount, but, it was some weird title, and they're like, the V is silent or something. I mean, Count Tyler. We'll keep it simple. Count Tyler.
Well, yeah, I would think that a Duke would be higher, but I don't know.
I'm a simple man. I like the sound of the title versus the authority behind it.
Realm would you like to rule over?
Well, it would have been nice if I was like the Roman.
Hey. Oh, no, never mind.
What's up? What? No,
nothing. I thought the Count was female, but the feminine would be Countess. So.
Oh, okay. Oh goodness. Man, that I wanted to say Square Enix, but they're definitely not first party. Not anymore by rights. And I guess if I were to take over a property, it would probably. I don't know. I'd have to figure out.
Wait,
I will let you know.
What's the studio that makes Little Big Planet and is making Dreams?
That is a very good question. All I hear is the music whenever you're talking about it.
We are the PlayStation podcast. We should know what that studio is.
We are experts at all things PlayStation, obviously.
Of course we're... if you want to talk about that, the designer is Sony Interactive Entertainment, but...
Media Molecule.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, of course.
You can be the Count of Media Molecule. Also, a Count is equivalent to a Duke. It's basically the Count is European and the Duke is British. I don't know.
Like Sultan to a King is still a different region.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So Count Tyler. Anyway,
Blech.
5 years ago, yesterday, was the anniversary of when the PlayStation 4 was announced. We are going to talk about the history about that day, a little bit about where we were, what we did, when we decided to buy the PS4, and kind of what happened that day in our segment Tales of PlayStation Past. But first, we're going to get into what we've been playing. Tyler, I know you were on the main PSVG podcast this week, talking about a couple things. You have anything to add? What have you been playing over the weekend?
Over this weekend, I as you said, I was talking about it just a tiny bit on PSVG because whenever I start talking, people start getting glassy-eyed. And so, I won't go in detail on those games out of respect. But for the PlayStation, totally, I've been picking up more Yakuza 0, and I'm starting to play more and more of it, and I'm loving it. Honestly, I never thought I'd have a game from this day and age be culture shock to me, but playing a game that's focusing centrally on 1980s, city Japan, just seeing everything that they had to offer, and it just messes with me. Like right now I'm doing a quest that has to do with the guy who's on breaking technology with a phone bag. And I didn't know there was such a thing called a phone bag. You could walk around with this giant backpack and make a phone call from anywhere. And they're like, this is the breaking technology. And then there was another time where there was like a knockoff of Michael Jackson showing up. And apparently he was a real big hit in Japan. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then there was another time where apparently they call them stockoons or something like that. They're stadium jackets. And, if they have any funky logos, it's pretty much a giant flag saying, fight me, I like this shirt. And so I had to escort a guy across the bridge because he was a pushover, but he really liked the stadium jacket. And so he constantly got beat up and stuff like that. But, like, the game is almost anything but serious. Like, 5% serious, like it's Yakuza. It's about, the Japanese equivalent of the mafia. And so, when I'm actually playing that storyline, it's like things are very serious. But then at the same time, I'm racing little pocket cars across the match, or I'm like trying to get in line to fight for a video game that just came out. And it's just so weird that I can sit there and I could fish all day if I really wanted to, or manage, house properties. It's really weird. It's like,
Yeah, that series is definitely known for all that weird stuff. Which, why Yakuza 0?
I have never touched a Yakuza game before,
okay.
And when it came out, Yakuza 0, it's like, oh, this is my chance to get into it without feeling like a goofball and not, starting with the PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah. All right. The only reason I ask is I know I think Yakuza 8 or something is coming out in the next couple of weeks. So
I think it's Yakuza Kiwami or Extreme. Basically, it's supposed to be a remake edition of 1.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I think what they're trying to do is, give a new stepping stone for people to try to re-experience Yakuza. And, I thought that was pretty cool. But Grand Theft Auto is a bit hardcore for me. So, it's cool. It's fun, but maybe a little bit too adult for me since I'm a kid, apparently. And Yakuza 0, there's very rarely any knives or guns. It's like, because, guns are illegal in Japan at that time. So, if you have a gun, it means you're a really bad person. And so, people are always, they put up their dukes and they settle it that way and it works out. But,
did you ever play Sleeping Dogs?
I have not played Sleeping Dogs. I, obviously heard a crap ton about it, but I never really picked it up.
If it, occasionally it's on PS4 as a definitive edition, whatever. Okay. Occasionally it goes on sale for pretty cheap. I really like the story in Sleeping Dogs, and a lot of the combat. It has awesome melee combat, and also really good driving for an open world. I never think the GTA driving. I haven't played GTA 5, but in the past, the GTA driving hasn't been the best or most interesting. And I really thought the driving in Sleeping Dogs, as well as the hand-to-hand combat, was really good. So,
okay. Oh, heck, maybe that's my answer. Maybe I'm going to be the Duke of Kamurocho, or Kamurocho, the casino city of Japan in the 1980s. I live in the past.
All right, next week you are in full costume for that. Oh, even though we aren't video, but whatever.
I'm saying I'll get my eye patch and go
for my own.
It's only for our pleasure.
Yeah, for my own amusement.
Sure. You will be entertained, my friend.
All right. Speaking, going off before Justin talks about this thing where he has a lot of L's in here. The three of us. We're the PlayStation podcast. We each own PlayStation 4s.
I hope so. Anyways,
none of us owns an Xbox, correct?
That may or may. Yes, that's true.
Correct, Justin?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I believe we are the last three remaining PSVG staff members to not own an Xbox.
If you're right, with Devin making the jump just very recently, and Donnie and Kevin also making the jump, in the past couple of months.
No, Donnie or Kevin over like last week, and then Devin also just here like yesterday.
Oh man, we are a dying breed of Sony Van boys over here.
Anyway, we are the last men standing.
That's right. We always will be.
So, Justin, what PlayStation only exclusives have you been playing? I'm just joking. What games have you been playing?
Yeah.
Recently?
Oh, I haven't played PlayStation exclusives actually. So, I finally beat Shadow of the Colossus, and yeah, I still really like that game. I think it holds up really well. So, and except for that last Colossi, I don't know. I didn't really. That was the first one I had to use a guide for a little bit because I got stuck and I was getting so upset. And when my wife calls in from the other room and says, "You need to calm down," because I'm sighing so loudly, that was the point I decided. I was like, fine, I'll just look this up, this one section, and figure out what's going on. But with that said, awesome game. I really liked it. So, yeah.
Did you end up getting the $40 or the $50 collector's edition?
The regular edition.
Totally respect. Like I looked at my fiance. It's like, hey, birthday is Sunday. I pointed at this game. It's like, you know what you need to do. It's like,
oh yeah, no, I highly suggest this game. Did you play the original?
I played it for the PlayStation 2, and I got it and played it for the PS3 as well. So I played it twice already. But this is the kind of game where it's like you could play it once a year and not be upset with that because it's simple and to the point. You're taking down giant colossi.
Yeah, very simple. So, but no, it was my first time, so I was really excited to jump in, and it holds up really well. So, usually, I thought for sure it was going to be all nostalgia based as far as like the enjoyment out of this game. But like as someone who's never played it at all, I still really liked it. So, yeah, finally beat that, and then I've just been playing Dragon Ball.
You got in the Dragon Ball Z.
So I am that guy who's playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and I still really like it. It's still, I think, I don't like fighting games, but I like this game for some reason, and it's So been playing that last couple nights.
Cool. Well, I kind of a broken record on what I've been playing recently. I forget if it was last week. I beat Celeste, the main story, and I was on
Nice.
the Nintendo Shack talking about that last week with Jason. And then I've been going in trying to do some of the B-sides. They are tough, but they're fun. And then other than that, I've been playing some NASCAR Heat 2. And then last night I played Destiny 2. I play that pretty much every Tuesday night with a friend. The one thing that's different, last week I got a new controller. I ordered a Scuff Infinity, which has the back paddles, and then for the D-pad I have the disc on it, and then my left trigger is like a normal trigger with a concave with it where it's dipped where you put your thumb, and then the right stick is a little longer and it's convex, which is supposedly how these things are, how the pro gamers like them, whatever. So anyway, yesterday was my first time playing Destiny, playing a shooter with the new controller and with the paddles and everything. And I did really like being able to jump with the paddle and being able to control my aim with my right thumb. I don't know that I'm actually any better at the game because of it, and it takes some getting used to. I was still using the X button to jump an awful lot instead of the paddle, but it's a lot of fun. So I recommend the Scuff Infinity so far.
Worth investment so far, as far as how much of an upgrade it feels over the standard controller. I mean, you only had it for a little bit now.
For a week. I mean, it's basically the PS4 controller. And I think they just take the PS4 controller and then mod it. Yeah. I do on the back of it. I have the grip. I forget what they call it, but it's extra grippy stuff. So I feel like my grip is better, especially in a long game session, or like yesterday. I did buy Trackmania Turbo. It is on sale this week for $12. A lot of VR games or games that have VR capability are on sale this week on PS4. And so I was playing that, and it can get kind of tense where you're trying these short tracks over and over and over, and your palms get sweaty. Vomit on your shirt, mom's spaghetti. And when that was happening,
I was thinking in my head, but I didn't want to say it.
When that was happening, my hands got a little sweaty, but I really felt like the grip of the controller. The controller wasn't slipping out of my hand, or what. I wasn't having any issues. As far as the build quality, so far it's fine. One of the reasons I was getting a new controller was on my old controllers. My L2 button stopped working. My left thumbstick, the thumb pad was off.
You don't need those buttons, though. I don't know what the complaint is.
It's true. If I were a better gamer, I wouldn't need so many buttons.
You just use the other 3 trigger buttons and one of the joysticks, and you're good.
Right. Makes sense.
Well, I kind of ask, those nerds over, that play Xbox. There's all this talk about how cool the Pro controller is, but we don't have one of those. So I think Scuff is the only thing that's slightly better version of a controller. So.
There are a couple of PlayStation licensed controllers. One might be a Razer or something, but the only other ones that are Pro controllers are all wired. Which I get if you're really a pro gamer and you want the reaction time and whatever, I understand that. But for my lifestyle, I need the wireless. So I wouldn't have gotten it if my other controllers worked just fine. But since I needed a new controller anyway, I decided to take the plunge. All right.
Fair enough. Forgive me. Either I zoned it or whatnot. How much did you end up dropping for that bad boy?
$180.
Wow. And you, do you personally believe that it's worth the jump for that? Oh man, you're giving the face. You're giving the face.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not trying to play it down or anything. I was just
no. It certainly is a luxury. I guess I looked at. I was going to be spending $70 on a new DualShock 4 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is tax time, and I just sold.
Got some of that.
I sold a couple games, so it was a little bit of a tax time kind of present.
I mean, it's a tax time thing, and it's a like we're all like cool stuff. So it's like
right.
It's a cool
and that's
toy,
what it's a new toy.
Yeah,
Hopefully it should last me for as long as I have a PlayStation 4. Of course,
one more year.
They're going to announce the PlayStation 5 at E3, and it's going to be out this year. So whatever. No,
PlayStation V.
There we go.
We're going to go Roman this year.
So anyway, I enjoy it. I don't think it's a necessary expense, and I'm just getting used to the paddles. I will say I use the paddles for shifting because I play a lot of racing games now. For shifting in NASCAR and in Gran Turismo, I've used it a bit. And that's actually changed the way I've always done automatic transmission in those games. And now I'm doing manual.
Ooh,
and
wow.
I'm
Look at you.
Noticeably a little quicker. I mean, it's not like I'm amazingly quicker, but as I'm learning about the best times to shift and everything, I can get off the line a little quicker in NASCAR. I can shift up and down. And get in the right gear in Gran Turismo. So and I just feel better clicking the paddles than I do hitting a face button. So, all right. On to this week's topic of the week is 5 years of PlayStation. We're doing, this is only our second show. So we're going to have a recurring segment called Tales of PlayStation Past, where we talk about the history, something to do with history of PlayStation. It's not going to be a weekly thing, but it'll be every now and then. But as this week is the 5-year anniversary of the announcement of the PS4, I thought we'd go back and look at, talk about the announcement, talk about exactly what was revealed at that time, and then kind of talk about a little bit of our own history of the PS4. We have a question in here as well that we'll get to. So we're gonna try something a little bit different. I have the history kind of written out here, and we're just gonna kind of rotate around so the listeners don't get tired of hearing my voice, and so two don't
Like
get
a
bored.
recital. A recital to play. I'm excited. Previously on Station 4.
5 years ago, the day was February 20th, 2013. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, a few facts about the reveal. It was pushed out to publications ahead of time, as the PlayStation event hadn't been officially announced, of course, until February 20th. They had a big event, I believe, in New York City. First, they talked about the internals before showing off the DualShock 4 itself, which added the light bar and touchpad to what is basically the DualShock 3. I have a note here that says it also originally looked like a boomerang. I don't recall that.
You really? You don't remember the boomerang?
I don't remember that. No.
I remember the boomerang from the PS3, I thought. Did the PS4 also have a boomerang-ish controller?
I thought there was, but maybe I'm just losing my touch here.
I don't know.
Repression.
Anyway, the main thing the DualShock 4 added was the light bar and the touchpad.
Yeah, and then I do remember that. And then some of the features they announced, it's hard to believe that. Like, I don't know, I'm so used to these features, but because they announced the suspend and resume feature on the PlayStation, so which is like I forget that wasn't a thing with previous generations, and like because it's so nice just to, like, turn my PlayStation off. Like, I don't turn my PlayStation off, I just set it down and come back the next day, and my game is literally right there, exactly where I stopped, and it's like that is insane.
Right, it's still and then of course it's in any modern point, but it really has changed the way that I game and how much I can game. I mean, I remember playing Bloodborne, and that game took forever to load, but because of suspend resume, you could jump in and out of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's too bad, kids these days. When I was a kid, I always had the excuse. I would tell my mom, like, Mom, I need to find a save point. I can't stop yet. But now that's not really a thing. So, but yeah, that was announced. So
nice. And over around the same time, the Gaikai server was introduced, talking about its game streaming capabilities, which you guys know. It's PlayStation Now. Oh man, that's a sweet old thing.
Hey, it's a
you
service.
guys ever mess with that?
I like PlayStation. I don't actively use it anymore, but I used it and it worked completely fine. Like, I played the first Ni no Kuni on PlayStation Now for quite a while.
Really?
Yeah, and but I just don't need it. I don't think a lot of people don't really need it.
Right.
It's a little bit pricey.
I think for us, it's kind of like the Xbox Games Pass, where people who've had the system for a long time, we played most of the games that we want to play on that.
Right. So you look at the whole list of titles, like, well, I either play that or I never want to play it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, it has like 600 things, 600 games on it, including PS3 and PS4.
How many of them are Madden titles?
I don't know. I don't think
I don't think a lot of them are.
There are some, like, I know, like NBA 2K16 popped up there, and WWE and whatever. So, but there was another part to
There was also, back then when they were talking about instant game demos, which never came to fruition. Unfortunately, the idea of being able to try the game without actually having to buy it for every single game. But we also know that there's a certain other system that's starting to enforce that idea that we shall not talk about. Sorry, was I soft in the type? No, it's a micro topic. Okay.
That would have been really cool, just to be able to, for any
really
game, cool. just start playing it. I don't know what they would have done the first 10 minutes or whatever, but to be able to stream part of it. Then possibly the most, what I think might be the most innovative console level feature of the current generation is the share button, which of course is also on, they have a similar thing on Xbox, and there's video capture on the Switch. But for the PS4, it first allowed gamers to share clips directly to Facebook or to stream on Ustream at the time, and now includes Twitch. And of course, now game streaming is far more common, and it's so easy to do. Like if I had to hook up an Elgato, I know Tyler is the king of streaming here on PSVG.
It's falling a bit.
Yeah, but if I had to hook up all that stuff, I would never stream. But I can push a button, and I can push the share button, and I push X like 3 times, and I'm streaming.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
Just being able to record that for like up to an hour if you want to of game footage, and you totally could do it.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about streaming. I'm talking about recording, but I appreciate the feature that they instilled for that.
Yeah.
Total.
I would rather, if I had more time, I would like to record. I was actually recording some of my NASCAR Heat stuff. I record a race because it's a while, and I like to cut it down a little bit. But the time it takes me to record the video, transfer it to a USB stick, and edit it on my computer, it just adds like 2 hours to the whole process. So it's just easier to press stream and.
Oh yeah, I've been arguing at all. Like I said, being able to have that video down and pat ready, it's nice. It's really nice.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't stream, or I haven't streamed at all. I think I tried. I went out and bought all the stuff that all the Elgato stuff, and hooked it up to my computer and did all that. And then I tried streaming like 2 nights, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm done because it's just
threw the towel down. I'm out of here.
Yeah. So no, having that. But I remember when that was announced. I remember streaming wasn't really a thing that much. I mean, yeah, Twitch was around for sure. But it was. I mean, they were definitely smart to include that. I mean, that was a long time ago. It was certainly not as big as it is now. There was not as much money in it as there is now. So I remember just thinking that, oh, that's kind of weird, and cool, I guess. Not thinking that it would actually get used, but no, that was pretty cool.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so and then remote play was shown, announced at that event as well. So I know they showed off playing Knack on a Vita. So remote play worked kind of. I had used it a few times, and sometimes with the success, sometimes not. Definitely more not than working. So how
I used it originally, when the PS4 launched, I got NBA 2K14 or whatever.
Yep.
So I would use remote play to do, like, if I had to do some like general manager stuff, like do the menu based kind of things, and then because a lot of times that stuff can take half hour or whatever. So I would do that while I was doing other things around the house, and then I'd play my games on the TV. But that's really the only time I used it. It didn't work well for action games of any kind, really, because there was just always bound to be some sort of lag or something, and it's missing 2 shoulder buttons. Right.
Well, that was the biggest thing for me. I think if it had if it had all 4 shoulder buttons, I think it would have been a lot better, for sure. But using that touchpad was awful. So, not the place, not the PS4's fault, more of the Vita's fault. But
you guys ever mess with it on the computer? Doing
I have not
remote play through the laptop. It's there's some latency still, but being able to connect your PlayStation 4 controller to it is pretty nice.
Yeah, I think I tried that out when it first came out, and I was like, it was one of those things where it worked, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but I'm never gonna use it, but this is still cool.
It's nice to know that it's there. Yes,
exactly.
Touching thumb.
I'm never really anywhere that I could do that with a computer. I'm either, if I'm on vacation or whatever, I'm at, if I'm at a hotel, the Wi-Fi there isn't good enough, or if I'm with family, I'm not gonna whip out my computer and start playing PS4 games on my laptop.
Yeah, like if you're out and about, more than likely you're going to have a laptop, which is going to have some difficulty playing it in the first place. And if you have your desktop, that's going to be totally able to handle it. It's right next to the PlayStation 4. What are you doing? Did someone steal the TV from you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that could be.
Remote play is like the appreciated fruitcake of the Sony kingdom. Like, we understand why it's there. It's cool, but we probably won't be eating it.
We're not actually eating it. Yeah. Exactly. Oh. Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
we mentioned Knack. Also, Infamous Second Son was shown during that first.
Oh man, that trailer.
First thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And also Killzone Shadowfall.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still have not played that game actually. Killzone Shadowfall.
That's
It's sitting
good.
downstairs. I bought it.
Yeah.
And then it's just sitting downstairs. So
Yeah, I like the game they made after that just a little bit better.
yeah.
It's
That's
Fast forward to the E3, Microsoft had announced its next gen console as well, known as the Xbox One. And that's where thunder claps down. Possibly the biggest feather in Sony caps, however, was the price point. Despite having the more powerful console, PlayStation 4 was coming in at $100 cheaper than the Xbox and was releasing 1 week earlier in North America, which is really smart on Sony's part. It's kind of like Price is Right rules, where it's like they're really pushing it, like they're betting $1 over and just doing everything just a little bit more than Xbox.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially because there was like rumors that the Xbox had revealed before PlayStation or Sony's event, so there were some rumors that like maybe they actually had time to change their pricing that way to just kind of steal that moment away from Microsoft. And it was definitely a big moment. Like there was like a huge applause and everything. So
I'm trying to remember like when Sony was like putting their hands in the air and they're like, "Hey, we don't have online, force DRM," and everybody's like, "Yeah," and then Microsoft was like, "Oh, I'm gonna pull that all back too."
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, yeah."
So, speaking of that idea and game sharing, we had a question this week from @thatchalfie on Twitter. You can reach us on Twitter at PSXP Podcast and hashtag PSXP Podcast. Anyway, when the PS4 was announced, what had us the most hyped up? He mentioned the Game Share video with Shuhei and Adam Boyes, where it pops up and says, "This is how you share a game on PlayStation 4." And it shows Shuhei with the PS4 game case, turns to Adam, hands it to Adam, and says, "This game." And Adam just says, "Thank you." It's how you share on PS4. So anyway, so that was kind of a fun, as a fanboy kind of moment or whatever. For me, from that first year, from that announcement of the console or the announcement of the games in E3, what do you remember? What got you most hyped up about the PlayStation 4? Tyler?
Honestly, I was the person that didn't get the PS4 on launch because having just gotten a Wii U, like we're talking like 3-4 years after it came out, and I had a PlayStation 3, I had to tell myself, I do not need this. It wasn't like, I don't know why, if I was strapping money or if I was just like, I don't need a PlayStation 4 if I don't know what I'm going to play for it.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was almost like a blind leap of faith, knowing that eventually I'm going to want a PlayStation 4. And I kept holding off. But honestly, the one thing that got me more and more excited was the idea of having more powerful hardware, which is the basic electronic caveman thought, ooh, number go higher, things go faster. Yeah. Loading screens gone. And everybody's like, oh, yeah. What's up, Justin?
No, I was just thinking I would like you to talk like that for the rest of the podcast and all podcasts going forward. Caveman talk.
Yeah. Me like Sony. Sony's so good. Microsoft go. But anyways, probably like there's certain games that come to mind. Honestly, like people hang the Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 on a stick whenever they talked about it in the very beginning. But I was also very wary about games that they talked about never ever coming through. Which to be fair, I'm still waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'm glad I waited until I did. I really did enjoy it though. What about you though, Justin? What was your thing?
I was I didn't get a PlayStation 4. I wasn't planning to get one at launch. So like I was excited. I had the same thought. I was like, oh, more powerful. Those games look prettier. That's cool. Like the jump to PS4 from PS3 or 360 in my case wasn't as big as the jump from PS2 to PS3, 360. Like, you know what I mean? There was a bigger jump back then with the HD and everything. So,
there was more hair on that lady's head. I totally respect that.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, that game looks prettier. I get it. But the price point was like, okay, that after when I saw the Xbox was $100 more expensive, and at the time I was like, it was going to be hard to, afford a new game console. I was like, well, obviously my choice is PS4, and the talk was that they were more powerful than the Xbox. So, that was a big, point. So, and the games looked great. I was excited for Final Fantasy. So, we know how long that took and went, but, then I missed. I didn't have a PS3, so I missed out on some PlayStation exclusives, and that was a big thing for me. I was like, I missed out on Last of Us and Uncharted, so I was like, I need to play those games. So
cool. Yeah, thinking back to then, I don't know that I was excited for any particular game, and like you said, the games. You just kind of watching a video of them. You can't tell, especially those early games. What the big difference was between a PS4 and a PS3. The first round of games, the Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and Destiny, those games were on both. So it's not really until I could go from playing PS4 for a while, and then a cousin still had a Xbox 360, and then kind of going back and forth, that I really noticed the difference in graphics. But I think what really got me hyped and why I was buying a PS4 on day one was just the attitude of Sony. Also, the PlayStation 4 was the first console that I bought at launch ever. So I think that was part of it too. Any other previous generation, I'd always been a little bit behind, just because high school, college.
I mean, PS3, I can't blame you. It came out at $600, man. Yeah. So, or I think it was 700 even at one point.
Yeah,
I think it depended. So, I can't blame you for that.
Something like that. So I was always behind, and now when PS4 came out, I was in a position. As an adult, grown man, I'm going to get a video game machine. And so I was getting that at launch. I was excited just for that, and then also just the attitude of PlayStation. That commercial with Shuhei handing the game to Adam Boyes, and how confident they were coming out, and they were $100 cheaper than the Xbox, and just how confident everything was. And I think some of that has rolled back a little bit. I think that some of the promises that they made at that first presentation obviously haven't come to full fruition yet, and I think there are some services that I wish were on PS4 that are on the other console.
Are you suggesting something like name changes?
I don't care about name changes, but yeah, I mean that seems like it should be a simple thing, right? I mean, I won't change my name, but there are people who certainly want to.
Who would pay to change their name?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd pay $5. I put my full name as my display name, and quite frankly, I don't want people doxing me if I ever smoke them in a triple kill or something. Yeah. So it's like I'd be happy to be $2 that way they could look up my profile and then find my full name anyways. But that's besides the point.
So so like that, or like EA Access, I wish was on PS4, and that Sony hadn't turned it down when it was offered. Yeah, that was a boneheaded thing. I wish the PlayStation Now, I wish it was a little more like Game Pass, where you could just download the games. I might actually do that. My internet's not really fast enough to stream all those games, but anyway, what had me most hyped up again was just the attitude and the power, and it felt like a good time to be a PlayStation gamer, and it still feels like a great time to be a PlayStation gamer. Kind of moving ahead, talking a little bit about some sales. To date, PS4 has sold more than 76 million consoles, which is currently the 6th best-selling home console ever, and could well pass the 360 and PS3 by the end of the year. I think they're in the 83, 84 million range. So PS4 could well, by the end of this year, pass those two. I don't know that I see it getting to 100 million to the Wii, but it'll get there. Best-selling games according to VG charts: GTA 5, Black Ops 3, and FIFA 17 have each sold more than 10 million copies on the PS4. Uncharted 4 sitting just shy of 10 million, with Last of Us and Uncharted at 5 and 6 million,
Still
and
weird.
Horizon Zero Dawn at about 4.5 million. And Second Son, Bloodborne, Killzone, Shadowfall, each hovering around 3 million. Anyway, those are some huge numbers.
People talk so critically well about it, but a lot of people don't, realize that they didn't sell as many as they probably should have. Honestly,
Well,
would have been nice.
yeah. I guess when you look at if you look at the Switch and you see that I forget what it was, Mario Kart has sold like 8 million.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and they have a fraction of the consoles.
A lot of those games are just like Rolling Stones that haven't built up enough moss, but they're rolling well. And meanwhile, you got games like FIFA 2017 that's on their 100th game, and they're obviously still rolling well, but they're a little bit larger now, so it makes sense that they have more attraction.
All right. Well, we are nearing the end of our time here. We're going to get on to. We had a couple questions on Twitter. A couple other questions not having to do with the history of PlayStation or the last 5 years of PS4. First from Splig at Dopalicious. What games have you regretted skipping, whether for time or money? Off the top of his head, he wishes he would have played Catherine and Ni no Kuni, possibly Persona 4 or 5. Do either of you, Justin, do you have an answer for a game that you wish you had played?
Honestly, not that I wish I would have played, but I wish I would have finished. And he actually meant like Persona's one of them. I never finished Persona 4 Golden.
Okay.
And on the Vita, and I wish I had, but I think if it had been on a main console, I probably actually would have played it more. And I guess I haven't played Persona 5, but I would like to. And then Ni no Kuni, like I mentioned, I played that in PlayStation Now, but I would like to finish that game, but I think I just fell off of it, but part of me wants to play both those games really badly. I'm not really sure why, but obviously I fell off of them for a reason. But there's a few games like that where it's like I wish I would have just played through the rest of that so I could see the end or something. So
I can respect that. Myself, honestly, I think my big regret for the PlayStation 4 era anyways would probably be Horizon Zero Dawn, because I had bought it and picked it up day one. And then, 2 days later, 3 days later, a certain other Nintendo title comes out. And so, I played like an hour or so. My fiance starts picking it up. And then I just go full hog into Breath of the Wild. Didn't touch the game for another 4 or 5 months. And so I come back to it and I was like, wait, do I really want to play this? And people talk so great about it. I'm like, I can respect that. And then I got 2 hours in. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I should have played this the moment I put Breath of the Wild down. And I just got so hooked and crazy into it. I felt like such an idiot for missing out on playing, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm glad I picked up and played Frozen Wilds immediately. Did not regret that.
Cool. When I thought about this question, I go back to when I was younger. A lot of the games I played were sports games, so I missed out on a lot of non-sports games. So, I've never played Final Fantasy VII.
Really?
And then I had a Dreamcast, and I loved the Dreamcast. But a game I wish I had played at the time. I wish I had played. Was it Skies of Arcadia?
I couldn't tell you. Unfortunately, by the time I got into video games,
Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast. I wish I would have played that. There's also Phantasy Star Online for Dreamcast. Anyway, Skies of Arcadia, players control Vise, a young air pirate, and his friends as they attempt to stop the Valuan Empire from reviving ancient weapons to potentially destroy the world. Anyway,
wow.
I wish I'd played that at the time, and also wish I'd played Phantasy Star Online, and I played some other games like that. I never really played a role-playing game, I want to say, until Kingdoms of Amalur, the game from the Kurt Schilling studio that bankrupted Rhode Island. That was my first role-playing
that
game.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That gem.
So that was my first role-playing game. Anyway.
Treasure.
Other question from @TrashTurkey from the Backlog Buster podcast. What has been your favorite PlayStation Plus game so far? I know, Tyler, you have an answer for this one.
Yes, like my first big solid one is, and full credit. First off, thank you, Trash Turkey, for your question.
Yes.
By Psyonix, I was a big fan of Rocket League, but I had it for the PC, and I didn't want to drop more money to play it on the PlayStation 4. But lo and behold, in order to generate a lot of buzz about it, they put Rocket League on the PlayStation 4, and so a full $20 game for free that I loved.
Yeah,
heck yeah.
And at launch, it was great.
Yeah. Till Dawn as well. I thought that was pretty cool. That's more recent that they came out and put it up for free. But yeah, I think those probably be my two biggest. What about you guys?
I know for me, Rocket League is definitely one of them, because that was it's probably tied between that and Resogun, how much time I've to a game. But Resogun I think is my favorite that I've played. Like I think I've put a lot more time into that, and it's a game that kind of like Rocket League too, I guess, but I'll just turn it on like random. I want to kill 10 minutes while my wife's getting ready before we go out or something like that. It's like I can always just jump into Resogun, play it. So I an early one, but easily still one of my favorites.
Yeah, being able to come home with PS4 on launch day and have Resogun right away, which still is certainly at least a top 20 PS4 game. That's a great game. I want to say there are a number of games that came out on PlayStation Plus that I had already bought that were great gets on PS Plus. Spelunky. Actually, no, I hadn't bought Spelunky. That was the first roguelike that I played, and I got it on PS Plus and loved that game. And the Swapper, which is a cool sci-fi puzzle game.
Oh yeah, I did like that one.
Transistor, one of my favorite games of the current generation. Of course, I'd already bought it at the time, which tends to be a problem with some of the bigger games.
Yeah, I run into that a lot.
That come to PlayStation Plus.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back to a game, actually a Vita game, Velocity Ultra, which is a space shooter where you kind of warp around a little bit. It's an awesome game, and I think Velocity 2X might be on PS4. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and Vita, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love, and those are games I didn't touch them until they came to PlayStation Plus, and absolutely love those games. Among my favorite Vita games, for sure. So anyway, those are speaking of PlayStation Plus. While we're on the topic, hopefully next week, probably not when we record this, but over the next couple weeks, the March Instant Game Collection will be announced. And I think starting in March, we're going to pick one of the PlayStation Plus games and kind of do a PlayStation Plus book club. And we will, we'll pick one of the PS4 games that are announced for next month and play through it and kind of talk through it later in the month. So we will watch our Twitter for that, and of course we'll talk about it in the future on this show.
I like that. Good on you for thinking.
That idea may or may not have come from Donnie.
No, I'm pretty sure me and Seth came up with that all by ourselves.
Donnie
do with it.
I don't know. He's the daddy Warbucks of PSVG.
I can just feel his hand hovering over the plug as we speak, just like, "Say it one more time, kid. I dare you."
All right. Usually we talk about notable new releases, but we are out of time. So I will mention the two biggest games. Well, I don't know. Two of the recognizable games coming out this week. Metal Gear Survive Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Are either of you
about Survive already? Unfortunately,
yeah. Are either of you playing either of those games?
no. I will not touch Metal Gear Survive out of respect to Kojima, even if he is a obnoxious snort box person. I like him and hate him, man. Well, I was going to be vulgar there, but clearly I want to keep civilized. But my love for that man is very constrained and is much more than Konami. So whatever Konami can make, just keep it to the pachinko machines. Maybe I'll play that, but I won't be touching Survive.
All right.
Respect that.
Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet really looks interesting to me. It comes out this Friday, and it's a third-person shooter in the Sword Art Online universe. I've never played one of those games, kind of because I don't know that I really like the regular game style, but I like third-person shooters, so I might jump into that one at some point.
Fair enough.
Anyway, that is it for this week's episode of the PlayStation Experience. Once again, you can find us on Twitter at PSXP Podcast. And with that, thanks to Justin and to Tyler for joining us this week. And I will see both of you bright and early next Wednesday morning.
Sounds good. Let's get ready to party. 2 times Tyler and Twitter.
Oh, yes.
No, I'm not, I don't do it. I don't say anything on Twitter, so I'm not. No, whatever.
Okay.
Cool person, not on Twitter.
Good sign off. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network. Find more great content at playsomevideogames.com.